Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome once again to NoDQ&A Video, the official Q&A video series for NoDQ.com. WWE Night of Champions is this coming Sunday live on pay-per-view, and of course you can check out NoDQ.com for all the latest coverage, news, spoilers, whatever. With that being said, let's get right down to your questions via spring.me/AaronRift. And yes, that is the place where you go to send in questions. Alright, first one today comes from Aliv705. What did you think of Goldust's performance on Monday? I found him great in the ring and even better acting out of the emotion of the loss. I even found myself forgetting it was scripted for a second. I thought it was really well done. I figured that it would be a predictable outcome. Goldust would come out, give it his best effort, and come up short. But with that being said, I thought that the execution couldn't have been done any better. I think that Goldust was tremendous. Dustin Rhodes came out and had a really good match with Randy Orton, and you know, he was really emotional. I loved that segment with Goldust backstage and Stephanie McMahon. I mean, Stephanie was just a tremendous heel, calling him a loser. I thought it was great, and I'm figuring now the next step is that Dusty will show up and the storyline will continue. So hopefully this leads to a big push for Cody Rhodes, because I felt that this was really strong, and I'm sure whatever Dusty comes up with for his segment, I think that will be really good as well. Another question here regarding Goldust from Mawman123. What is the point of letting Goldust return and lose his first match? I think you meant lose. Well, obviously it's part of a storyline, and you know, Goldust came back for one night only as part of the storyline. It's not like he's coming back and is going to be a regular, although I don't think a lot of people would have a problem with Goldust coming back and being a regular again. I mean, the fact is he came out there and a lot of people felt that he was just as good as if not better than most of the people on the roster. I mean, Goldust went out there and looked like he hadn't missed a beat. So if he does come back, I mean, losing here isn't going to hurt Goldust at all. I mean, it was telling the story, and Goldust went out there and gave it his all and came up just short against the WWE champion, the top guy. So, I mean, it's nothing really to be ashamed of, but, you know, the McMahons are going to really lay it in and call him a loser and all that. So it's all part of the storyline, and like I said, it was great stuff. All right, this next question here. What did you think about Edge's return on Raw, and what did you think about the Cutting Edge segment? Once again, I thought that this was a really strong segment. I mean, this Raw was really good. And, you know, you had the Toronto crowd. This was the perfect time to bring back Edge. And not only bring him back, but bring him back with a purpose, because you have this storyline going on where everybody's afraid to tell the truth to Triple H and get in his face. But since Edge, you know, isn't part of the company, he can come out there and say what's on his mind. So this was a great time to bring him back and create more interest in the Daniel Bryan-Randy Orton match for Sunday. So I really liked it, and Edge gave Daniel Bryan his stamp of approval. And you know, the back and forth stuff between Triple H and Edge, you know, they were both at the top of their games. So yeah, more really solid television here, and you know, thumbs up. All right, this one comes from BHinder1. Oh, by the way, you know, when that Edge segment happened, he said some stuff that perhaps was pushing the envelope. He said one line, "You're not a dictator, Hunter. You're just a dick." And of course, I had to get questions from people asking me if this meant that the PG era was ending. No, it's not. Anyways, back to BHinder1's question here. With Daniel Bryan getting the upper hand on this past edition of Raw, does this mean he's not going to win the title this Sunday? That is a very good question, because traditionally, with the way WWE books things, the guy that gets the upper hand on the last show before the pay-per-view ends up losing. Now, this isn't always the case, but I think fans are just happy that Daniel Bryan finally got one over on Orton, because week after week after week, Daniel Bryan was being laid out, and this time he finally got one on Orton. But as I mentioned in previous videos, I don't know if Daniel Bryan's going to win this soon, especially if this feud's going to drag out over the next couple of months in pay-per-views. I could very well see some sort of screw job this Sunday where Orton, by the skin of his teeth, manages to retain the title, and that'll set up another match at Battleground, and then perhaps there'll be a third and final match at Hell in the Cell, and at that point, Bryan finally gets the best of Orton and is the WWE champion heading into Survivor Series. That's how I would do it. You know, I don't know if Sunday's the right time for him to win the title or not, but we'll see. I mean, it could really go either way at this point. I mean, it's definitely, in terms of fan predictions, you know, on NoDQ.com, I put up the poll, and it's neck and neck, almost 50%, you know, a tie as to who's going to win. So at this point, I mean, it's really unpredictable, and I would say that that's a good thing. If you can't predict the outcome and you're wondering who's going to win the match, I mean, that'll definitely get a lot of people interested in checking out the show on Sunday. All right, this one comes from Copland08. Hey, just wanted to say thanks for answering my first question before, and sorry about ending to post about McMahon family storyline. Here's my question for you. What is your favorite WWE group stable of all time? Mine is the NWO, if you cared. Well, the NWO was mainly a WCW faction. I mean, I would not say the NWO was the best WWE stable by any stretch of the imagination. In my opinion, the #1 stable in WWE history would have to be DX. I mean, DX was the most popular group during the most popular period in the company's history, and they were you know, front and center during the Attitude Era. So I mean, it has to be DX for me. And you know, overall, DX is right up there with the NWO, the WCW version of the NWO, and the Four Horsemen. All right, this one comes from Yotan Ms. Fan 4301. Hey Aaron, love your videos. What do you think about the end of Monday Night Raw? And what do you think about Big Show turning heel again? He's actually talking about last week's Raw, because I'm getting to a few old questions here. As I mentioned last week, I thought that Big Show's acting was tremendous, and you know, Big Show does a really good job in the role, even if it doesn't make a whole lot of logical sense. You know, the whole ironclad contract thing and whatnot. But as far as Big Show turning heel again, I would not rule it out, because it's happened time and time again. Big Show, I don't know if he has the record for the most heel and babyface switches. I mean, somebody out there has to know the stats. So leave a comment, let me know who has had the most switches between babyface and heel. I'm really curious to know. I know Big Show has to be up there towards the top. So yeah, will he possibly turn heel and join Triple H and that corporate stable? Would not surprise me at all. You know, I think it would be a bit lame, because Big Show has changed so many times, but you know, I would not be surprised if that happened. All right, this one comes from Alex Draven. Hey Aaron, great intro for 351. Thank you for that. With the Daniel Bryan storyline being the big topic lately, I was thinking, with the way things are going, do you see Daniel Bryan versus Triple H at WrestleMania? Please answer in video. I think that would be dragging it out a bit, but it's certainly a possibility that we could see Daniel Bryan and Triple H. I really don't think Triple H should be wrestling at this point, but you know, it's WrestleMania, it's the big show of the year, and that might be the direction WWE's going, where Triple H will put himself in the big match. The way I see it right now, I really don't want to make predictions for WrestleMania right now, just because there's so much time until WrestleMania, but I could see, first of all, I'm thinking it's going to be Brock and Undertaker at WrestleMania, and then for the McMahon storyline, you know, they're building up Randy Orton as the face of WWE. They keep drilling that into our heads, that he's the face of WWE. And you know, around January, February, John Cena, the guy who most people would say has been the face of WWE, will be making his return. So I get the feeling we're going to see John Cena and Randy Orton in the big McMahon storyline match, and John Cena will end the McMahon reign of terror. I see that happening, a very good possibility. And then that would leave Daniel Bryan and CM Punk. I mean, that's a match that I think would be great for WrestleMania. And that would be a match that would satisfy the internet wrestling fans. You know, you'd have John Cena, Randy Orton as the match to, draw all the mainstream wrestling fans, your casual viewers, but then you'd have Daniel Bryan and CM Punk as the match that sells the internet fans. But yeah, then you have Triple H there, so how does he play in? I don't think he should be on the card. I don't think it's necessary to have him wrestle, but it could very well happen, and anything could happen. Triple H, Daniel Bryan, Triple H, John Cena, who knows? But yeah, I mean, would not rule out Triple H being in a big match at WrestleMania. Alright, this one comes from Ben N 1982. With Ryback kind of lost in the shuffle and doing the bullying segments backstage, do you think the only way the Ryback character can be saved is for him to stand up to the corporation and save Daniel Bryan to get him being a face again? I suppose you could do that, but to be honest, I don't know what's going to save Ryback at this point. Nobody seems to care about the guy anymore. When he came out on Raw this week against RVD, he got the Goldberg chants, and the crowd was just dead for him. And in most of the cities, he gets booed, but people, once the bell rings, don't seem to react to him at all. So I don't know if there is anything that could save Ryback at this point. I suppose that would be worth trying, and have Ryback be the guy that finally stands up to Triple H. I mean, that could possibly work, but I don't even know at this point if anything could save Ryback. Alright, last one today comes from Jerome Inc. In the light of the departure of Ted DiBiase Jr., who are some of the worst wrestling releases WWE should have never let go? That's really tough to say because there aren't a whole lot of guys that left WWE and then had great success somewhere else. I mean, we've seen so many guys that WCW let go and they went to WWE and became huge stars. I really can't say. I mean, there's not a whole lot of people where I see that their career got better when they left WWE. I will say this. One guy I felt that they should not have let go was Caval. Caval, formerly Low Key, he came in as part of NXT, and Daniel Bryan was starting to get over, and I think Caval could have been a huge deal in WWE. The people were really getting behind him, and I'm just mind-boggled as to why they let him go and why they cut him. So, definitely I would have kept Caval. And another guy, Muhammad Hassan. I've talked about this before. I loved that character and gimmick, and WWE gave in to pressure from the network because the angle they did with Undertaker was too controversial. But that character was just awesome, and it ended way too soon. So I mean, those would be the guys, and Ernest Miller too. I really felt that Ernest Miller was a great character, and they brought him in for the Royal Rumble and gave him the music and the whole big entrance, and then they let him go the next week. Made no sense to me at all. I mean, why not give that guy a chance? So those would be my top names. Alright, that'll do it for this edition of No DQ&A video. It sounds like the Duke the Dumpster Drosy guy is coming, so I better wrap this up. Leave a comment, subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCAW, and I will see you guys next time for more No DQ&A video.